Hi and welcome to Hello Dolly Nursery. Today we're outside on the veranda and we have a very special video to do today. Just wanted to show you where I sit and rock babies. So beautiful. Very peaceful here for the most part. Got some babies out on the veranda with us. I think I'm a little bit in the shadow, but they're really in the light. Today, I just wanted to talk with you a little bit about a very important subject about heaven. I was asked a long time ago if I would please tell my stories of going to heaven because I died twice when I was in my 20s. I never got around to it, but it was a tag on Facebook, and I had multiple requests for that. So today I want to tell you about my trip to heaven and what happened to me. I was 21 years old and I was a nursing student at a Texas university. And when I was there as a nursing student, I became ill. I know that we were cooking up a lot of bugs in the microbiology lab, and so that was dangerous to be doing, of course. In addition to that, that happened very, very fast for me. I woke up one morning with overwhelming chills that basically caused me to fall down on the bed. It hurt so badly. And I knew that I had minutes to get to a hospital, and so I grabbed things, put them in a bag, and went immediately to get care in a hospital. And I was there for 2 to 3 months. I really don't have a lot of recollection of it. But when I was there, I had virulent pneumonia, which means a very dangerous pneumonia. And in the midst of that pneumonia, I became worse and worse and worse. But finally, it turned around. And thank heaven, they were able to deal with it and to get me to the point where I was fairly, well, at least my lungs were cleared out. So as I was very ill, I was transferred back to my off-campus apartment. And my mother hired around-the-clock nursing service to be with me. And these were wonderful nurses who came day and night and took shifts. I had been up to get something to drink and went back to bed. And the nurse gave me the last swallow of soup that I was able to get down. And she took the bowl of soup to the kitchen, and when she returned, she stood in the doorway and she began to scream and to panic. She ran toward me, and by that time I was floating inside my body, and I was probably officially dead at that time because I left my body. And when I left it, I tried to assure her that I was fine, but she could not hear me. She didn't know what I was talking about. It was as though she just kept moving toward my body on the bed, shaking me, trying to bring life back into me, and it wasn't working. I finally gave up trying to reason with her. She just was not going to have any of my explanation that I was fine. I floated out of the top of my head into an extremely dark and tranquil and beautiful and peaceful place. There was no light in it, and I realized that I felt like I was in my mother's womb again. It was so peaceful. I've never felt that kind of peace before or since. I had someone with me in this tunnel where I was, this dark tunnel, and they were very kind. And they led me down into the light, and it was the most exquisite light that I really had ever seen. It was magnificent. in every way. They told me that I could stay or I could go, that I had that choice. And I asked to stay to see what was there. And when I did, I was allowed onto a porch not unlike this one. It had a small railing, and there was light flooding through, light unlike the light of earth. Here things are relatively dark, even on the brightest day compared to that. But it's a very comforting living light. And as I stepped into the veranda area, I was so blessed to see that underneath this massive, massive field, there was light instead of dirt. And so light came up through every blade of grass, into every stem of every flower, into every bloom, through every tree, into the colors of the birds and the animals, and into the colors of the people that were there and their beautiful, beautiful robes. I had never experienced or seen anything that beautiful in my life. I had no explanation for it except that it must be heaven. It did not matter to me at that point in time whether I saw my brother and others who had died the year before. I did not see them, nor did I see Jesus. But I knew that it was God's home, and I knew that I had a choice to make. I saw 3 adults standing side by side in a small semicircle, and the middle one had a beautiful little notebook, a brown one, in his hand. And that notebook was filled with something that was interesting, these 3. I noticed their white robes were magnificent. They were of a linen weave, but they were not just material. They were a material that was actually woven with light inside. And when one of them moved, the interesting thing was the light remained momentarily in the place where he had moved from, and then it absorbed back into the cloth. I'd never seen anything so beautiful, ever. The birds were singing much like they are out here today, only far more beautifully. And there were little children on the lawn that were playing. And when I say this place was big, it was massive. It swept up on the right, this emerald green, massive field, into what appeared to be mountains, and there was light coming out as though there was a city there, and that interested me a great deal. Well, I had felt a tug and a pull back toward the tunnel, and I stepped back inside, and I gave 3 reasons that I had to go. One of them was because my mother was praying for me. She had already lost my brother the year before. She wasn't interested in losing me, and her prayers had been heard. And I had that choice of going home. So I gave 3 reasons why I wanted to go home. And I suddenly woke up, and my spirit had basically crashed into the body that I had left behind. And I was very immediately sorry that I had re-entered that body. I missed heaven. I missed the peace and the tranquility, the overwhelming sense of wellness and wholeness. I missed it all so much. And when I woke up, of course, it was quite a surprise to the nurse, who said that she had been unable to retrieve any kind of help because she couldn't leave me. I don't know if she tried CPR, I don't know what she did, but she was unable to leave me. And so it was very difficult for her. Tears were coming down her face. And she finally sat down on the bed, and I told her what had happened. And she said, "Sweetheart, I would never tell that story to anyone if I were you. They'll think that you're crazy." Well, so for many years I followed that advice, but I did tell my mother. Finally, I found a book written by a doctor, Dr. Raymond Moody, that explained what had happened to me. I had had a near-death experience. According to the nurse that day, I had actually been gone around 8 minutes, and she could not revive me in any way. I had seen heaven, and my life was changed forever. I was disinterested in certain things and became much more interested in others. In particular, I became more interested in helping people and in spiritual endeavors. And eventually, from that very experience, I had become a chaplain for hospice. I was able to comfort people in a very special way when they were on their way home to see God. Now, 7 years later, I died again on an operating table, and when I woke up, the doctor was sitting beside me and told me what had happened. They were very, very surprised. That recollection was not as clear as the first, but it was just as beautiful. So today, in behalf of all of you who are listening, I wish you a beautiful and a blessed day, and always I wish you the faith to believe and to know that God is real, whatever you call God, whoever you call God. And God loves you the way that you are and has created a very special home just for you, for your loved ones, for all of those who look to Him and who love Him. So my prayers are with you that everything, every day will remind you of that beautiful place. And that when the time comes when God calls you to come home, you are comforted in the knowledge and with the assurance of His love, and that He will guide you safely there. From Hello Dolly Nursery, where babies are blessings, and so are you.